Well, recent findings by the World Health Organization show that mental health conditions affect nearly 150 million people across Africa. Yet, care services remain severely under-resourced, fragmented, and largely inaccessible, especially in rural and undeserved areas. Who warns that despite the widespread need, most African countries allocate less than $1 per person per year to mental health, resulting in a chronic shortage of trained professionals and limited infrastructure for prevention, treatment, and psychosocial support. Prof. Taiwo Obindo is the President, Association of Psychiatrists in Nigeria. He joins us now in the studio to look at this disturbing issue that I've just reeled out. Glad to have you join us, Prof.
It's a pleasure to be around.
Well, from the conference you held, you are raising concerns about the state of mental health system. Why, particularly?
Well, the concern has always been raised. Okay. It's just that we are now re-echoing what is on ground. The fact that generally we have 1 in 5 Nigerian likely to have one form of mental illness in their lifetime, and the number talks about almost 20-25% will have one form of mental illness or the other on their own. And with the recent challenges we've been having in the country, that report was given probably around 1986, and we're now talking about 2025 with the recent challenges that people are facing, losing their jobs, unemployment, underemployment, people who are having challenges with kidnapping, a lot of things happening, security issues happening around. It's obvious that we will have increased prevalence, even increasing incidence of mental health conditions in the country. And we, at the 56th Annual General and Scientific Meeting, we had to look at the system, mental health system itself, to look at what is happening, what is obtainable, where are we, and how can we move forward. And it's obvious that we are not where we are supposed to be, and we need to do all those things you identified.
Yeah, you've already mentioned, because I was going to ask you, what are the drivers of mental health, particularly in Nigeria, but I think you just mentioned most of them. Now, the question is, what should the nation be doing to address this issue? And I heard you say forms of. Do you have forms of mental health, are there?
Yeah, there are various types, ranging from the mild to moderate to severe form of mental illnesses. Most people with mild, moderate may still be able to function, but they will not be able to function maximally. And that's why we have people absenting themselves from work. There are people who will even be present, but they will not be able to do what they should be doing.
They'll be present, but they won't be present.
Which is called presenteeism.
Presenteeism.
They are there, but then, of course, they are not functioning because they are depressed. They have a form of anxiety disorder or for other form of illnesses, and therefore they can't give their best. So what do we do, as you asked?
As a nation.
Yes. As a nation, what we budget for mental health in this country is quite abysmal. 6% to the health sector, and nothing more than 2% of that 6% is allocated to mental health. And a chunk of that is actually goes to the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, and largely for overheads, not even for taking care of those who have issues. Funding must improve, must increase to mental health. Also, there is a bill, not even a bill, an act that President Buhari assented to in 2022 December and was gazetted in January 2023. Up till this moment, that act is yet to be implemented. And that act talks about the rights of people, because before now, what we practice under is called the Lunacy Act, which was bequeathed to us 1916, reviewed 1958, And up to, up to the present moment, that's what we have. And that cannot be said to, because we call it lunacy act. The fact that you even call people lunatic is actually stigmatizing. So that also would need to be implemented. Setting up a Department of Mental Health Services in the Federal Ministry of Health is one area that we need. One of the other areas of that act talks about funding for mental health issues generally. And that goes beyond the budgetary allocation. Philanthropies, other agencies, CSO, non-governmental organizations can actually plow into this and then help. Cost of drugs have actually gone skyrocketed. Because what people used to buy for less than maybe 1,000, 1,200 for a monthly supply, they are now spending over 20,000.
That could cause mental health.
That could actually that actually made them stop taking medication, and we're having high cases of relapses.
I was going to ask you, how rampant really or widespread is mental health in Nigeria? And just take this along. When you say mental health, paint a picture really of what it really is. In other words, how do you determine that someone has a mental health issue? These two questions.
Okay. I will start by defining and telling you what mental health really is. For all of us have mental health, or else we won't be functioning the way we should. Mental health is a state of well-being in which an individual is able to realize his or her potential, one, is able to work under what we call normal stresses of life. The person is also able to work productively and fruitfully, and fourthly, is able to contribute to the community where he works. So these four areas must be there for somebody to be described as being mentally
balanced,
healthy.
Healthy.
So anything, any departure from this will say somebody is tending towards a mental health condition or a mental health disorder. So this mental health disorder means that somebody is not thinking the way he should, is not behaving the way he should behave, is not sleeping well the way he should, is not relating well with others, because somebody must be able to work fruitfully and productively. So if somebody is at work and is not relating well with colleagues, it definitely has an issue. And that will not even, and then people are even talking about the economic aspect of mental health condition. That if we're able to put $1 in mental health, we are likely to get about $4 in return, because people will be able to function well, people will be able to do their works, and then the government, the people will definitely get well. Stigma and discrimination against those who have mental health condition also needs to go, because that's one of the major issues. People are ill because what people will say, they won't go for help. And even if they are going for help, they are not going for the right kind of help. They probably will go to the traditional healers and all that, and before they get to have appropriate care, then it will have become late, and then the late presentation means a poor outcome. So government must make it a point of duty to emphasize. There are some countries, at least I know about Canada, where they have Ministry of mental health. Because it's important. Very important.
That's your life.
Really. Very, because every area of our lives needs to do it. And then I need to differentiate those who are under distress. And a lot of Nigerians are under distress presently, because I describe mental health as a pendulum. Moving from optimal mental health to the area of mental health condition. And in between, just by the side of those who have mental health condition, are those who are distressed because of one challenge or the other, losing a relation, losing job, not able to even feed or take care of the family.
I want you to handle this very briefly. We have less than 1 minute. I wanted to put this in. Why do you suppose the issue is under prioritized, and why is there not enough, or is there not enough awareness, and why are care services severely under-resourced Just tackle this in maybe 45 minutes if you can.
Under prioritized
Yeah.
is the fact that people have not been able to accord mental health the right place. And that's what is actually projecting with the Ministry of Health refusing to set up that Department of Mental Health Services. Also,
I think it's not important.
I mean, that's what they probably have a program which does not have a budget line or an appendage of Department of Mental Health Services. And then when you talk about, what was the other one you asked?
Why enough awareness, care services severely under-resourced?
On the resources, the fact that we have very few number of mental health practitioners in the country. Quite a number of us are jackpot in. They're
Right.
leaving the country in
Droves. All right. Somebody's
Five
laughing.
recently fellows who are just produced. 3 out of them are likely to leave the country within the next 6
We'll
months.
leave it there, Prof. Taiwo Obindo, the President, Association of Psychiatrists in Nigeria. Thank you for being here to throw light on this particular, very important health challenge. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad to be here.